Theodore balled up the page and shoved it in his pocket. He pulled out his trick coin as he approached the gate. The station master was asleep at his booth, a little dribble of spit running down his chin. Typical. Theodore stuck his coin in the machine, waited for the gate to open, and then, with a light tug on the fishing line threaded through the little hole in the tip of the coin, it popped back out. Easy. He was in before anybody noticed what he had done. He pocketed the coin and started down the hallway. Tap, tap. Clack, tap, tap. Clack. His shoes beat a rhythm on the stone steps. The sole of his left shoe was beginning to wear, and the heel of his shoe tapped against the heel of his foot as he walked. He puffed on his hands again and peeked over his shoulder. No one was after him. He had done this trick 1,000 times before, so why did he feel like there was someone watching him? Clack, tap, tap, clack. Again he glanced over his shoulder. The odd double rhythm of his broken shoe was suddenly unnerving in the deserted station. Where were all the other passengers? Well, nice folks avoided this place like the plague, especially after midnight. The oil lamps that lit Burke Street Station were so routinely out of oil that he could hardly find his own feet in front of him. But still, Theodore expected to see some other passengers. Where were the other vagrants? They should be sleeping in the dark corners of the hallway, under blankets made of rags. And the boys from the blacking factory should be heading home from their long shifts, fingers stained black with powders and oil. But there was no one. Only the rats, skittering through rat tunnels to keep him company. Tap, tap, clack, tap, tap, clack. Another set of footsteps began to follow his own, beating out a different rhythm, a steady tap, 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 tap. He paused to listen, and nothing but silence greeted him. He glanced over his shoulder. Nobody there. He continued onward, and again, a second set of footsteps started up behind him. He paused to listen. This time, they didn't stop. Tap, 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 tap. Whoever it was, they were getting closer, closer and closer, louder and louder, tapping out a steady rhythm as they approached down the long, dark hallway. He could almost make out the solitary figure in the gloomy, hazy light, but then the fog grew thicker, and whatever he thought he'd seen was gone. The footsteps kept on getting louder, though, and closer. He turned and ran down the hallway. A long flight of steps delved deeper into the darkness of Burke Street Station, down toward the platform. The train was already rumbling, announcing its approach. It vibrated through Theodore's toes to the tip of his spine, rattling his bones. He grabbed the railing and all but flew down the staircase. The rumble of the train grew louder and clearer. Shit! Theodore cursed. Taking the steps two at a time, he hurtled down the steps and didn't stop when he reached the bottom. Nails on a blackboard. The tines of silverware scraping against a ceramic plate. The screaming madman at Newgate Asylum. The anguished cry of a mother weeping over her stillborn babe. Theodore had heard these sounds all, but not one compared to the shrill screech of an automatic train rolling into Burke Street. Iron wheels grinding against iron tracks, hot metal sending up sparks, belching out steam as black as sin, the carriages rattling and clanging against one another, the hiss of hot coal burning in the engines, the shriek of brakes as the train ground to a halt. If it went on long enough, it would surely drive a man mad. Theodore covered his ears with his hands, pressing them against his head to muffle out the deafening noise, and waited for the thundering train to come to a halt. When it did, he realized it must have drowned out the sound of the steadily approaching footsteps he'd heard in the hallway, because he could hear them again, and they were closer. So close, he half expected to feel someone's hot breath on his neck. He whirled around, but there was no one there. Silence greeted him like an old friend. His heart hammered against his chest. There's no one there, he muttered to himself, but he didn't sound convinced. A smell lingered in the air, as if something foul had passed through. The smell was familiar enough, the breath of a man with rotting teeth. It was a foul, cloying stench. He spun around again, and this time found himself face to face with the man to whom those dreaded footsteps belonged. Only he wasn't a man, not really.